We know YouTube rewards viewer retention. So if you're a corporation, you put out a piece of content, and yeah, there's no dislike button, so people can't publicly tell how much of a turd that video is. But if the advertiser sees on the back end that people watch a few seconds in and then they click off, doesn't that still signal to YouTube that it's a turd of a video and it won't surface it as much in the recommendations?
Possibly, but they can sell that way easier to the CMO of XYZ company than they can sell when the CMO goes on the YouTube page and sees 50,000 dislikes and calls the president of the marketing firm and says, hey, this video that we just paid you guys $5 million to make is getting on. And they change firms. That's what this game is all about.
With YouTube, their biggest issue, apparently, is like fake news and, you know, groups of people downvoting something, people saying they don't like something. I mean, that's the reason they've said that they're getting rid of it. I think it's purely a political move for advertisers.
So I'm confused. Is it for the mental health of the small creators? Because that's what I read in YouTube's press release. So are they concerned with the mental health of the small creator, or are they concerned with big time advertisers and big time producers put a lot of money into something and it gets obliterated or dislike bombed, and they're trying to eliminate that because that creates a negative feel or a negative relationship with the advertiser? So which one do you put more legitimacy in?
I'm going to say the latter.
Yeah, the advertisers. I mean, the Gillette. I wonder what the Gillette thing is on.
Well, they're so tired of Jimmy Fallon just getting bombed every single clip because they just push it. So Jimmy Fallon had a breakdown. And he's like, I'm done with this shit. Either you don't let them hate me or I'm out. And I don't know, Gillette or Dollar Shave Club. I'm sure they had a problem with it. That's probably one of the big reasons. I think there is something to the mental health component. I think there's a layer of truth to it, but I think they're hiding behind it to kind of distract people from the corporate side of things.
I mean, we could talk about the mental health thing all day. This goes back to creating fake realities. I mean, if you want to be a comic and you can't take people shitting on you, I don't even know what to say. Good luck. Like, best of luck.
So the creators still see the dislike on the back end. So it's not like they're shielded from it. If I log in, I still see exactly how many dislikes I got.
Sure, but not
But it's
really.
not a public thing.
It's not just that. As PewDiePie pointed out very succinctly, less people are going to use it. They're trying to engineer behavior. They're trying to get less people. If you don't think your dislike is going to be shown to the public, you're less likely to do it.
Right. Plus, it's buried for the user as well. They'd have to, rather than just click on their video and see it where everyone sees it, they'd have to go into the analytics, deep into the analytics to see it. So instead of the Gillette commercial having 24,000 upvotes and 95,000 downvotes, which hurts Gillette's ego, public, I mean, that is, if you're marketing a company and then you get that big of a backlash and it's public, everyone who watches it knows that review bomb or not, you've got 75-85% of people hate that message. Like if they've given it the downvote, whatever that may be, it's up to the interpretation of the, because it's such a, it's Julius Caesar, thumbs up, thumbs down. That's what I know it as. Yeah, off with his head, feed him to the lions. So I think that I think you're right, Sean. I think it is for the advertisers, and they don't. I think that the mental health thing, like you said, Roman, for the creators, is just a way of them selling it. Because if they said, "Hey, corporations don't like when their adverts are shit on publicly by everybody," you watch an advert for anything on television, which it has been for like nearly 100 years. Was it that long? Anyway. You don't see what the negativity of it on it is. You may talk about it around the water fountain the next day at work. You're like, yeah, that was nonsense. But that could just be localized to wherever. You'd be like, well, maybe in America they love that. Now it's public. We disapprove of this message. The public does. That is bad news for any kind of advertiser.
But I don't think it is. I think it's good news. Like, it should make them better. No?
We'll come back to the good news. Roman, what was it you just said?
Well, the silver lining is they could still go in the comments, right, and on it, unless the comments are getting deleted.
Well, so the Gillette video, the comments are turned off. See, that's always the sign.
Well,
That's always the
Yeah.
sign of a video which is afraid of reality. It's usually some ridiculously political thing, and then comments are turned off. So now that they're just slowly getting rid of all of the negative reactions that can happen on the internet. So Sean, what do you think the silver lining is?
Well, I think the silver lining for advertisers, and I heard some creators in some of the research I was doing really quickly, well, it should make them better at what they're doing. The problem is, we know, and because we've spent some time in those buildings, they don't want the negative feedback. They want everyone to tell them how fucking awesome they are.
Oh, the silver lining to negative feedback.
Well,
yeah.
the silver lining should be like, hey, people don't like this video. Let's do something different. The silver lining should be you put out 1,000 pieces of content and you let the public tell you what works and what doesn't, and then you constantly get better. If you're a marketer, if you're a marketing team, you're a Fortune 500 company, or you're a market direct-to-consumer product, and you don't want the feedback, the real feedback from the public, I think it just makes you worse at the game, whatever game it is you're playing, no?
Yeah, there's that. But my question about the algorithm, though, is we know YouTube rewards viewer retention. So if you're a corporation, you put out a piece of content, and yeah, there's no dislike button, so people can't publicly tell how much of a turd that video is. But if the advertiser sees on the back end that people watch a few seconds in and then they click off, doesn't that still signal to YouTube that it's a turd of a video and it won't surface it as much in the recommendations?
Possibly, but they can sell that way easier to the CMO of XYZ company than they can sell when the CMO goes on the YouTube page and sees 50,000 dislikes and calls the president of the marketing firm and says, hey, this video that we just paid you guys $5 million to make is getting on. And they change firms. That's what this game is all about. And that's why YouTube buying into this corporate, they're just playing the same corporate game as every television network, which blows my mind. And we talked about this 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know why they cater to the advertisers at all. At all. They should simply be concerned with the creators and the audience. If you have that many eyeballs, people are going to come to you. There's an old joke in banking where if you owe the bank $1 million, you work for them. If you owe the bank $1 billion, they work for you.